Welcome to Orange County Chiropractic Car Injury Clinics. Let me share with you how we help one of the most common conditions we treat and see in our office, which is a whiplash injury. So a whiplash injury, most people are generally familiar with the word whiplash, but essentially what that means is if you've been, and most of the time it happens in a car, doesn't necessarily happen in a car, but the mechanism is essentially if you're standing still, sitting still, like in a car, and you get hit hard from behind. Without expecting it. And what it does is it throws your head back and creates a whiplash injury. And there's several factors that happen. A lot of times the joints and the tissue are damaged, the joints are damaged, the disc is damaged, you can have ligament damage. Those are the most common problems going backwards. But also the brain slams inside the head, and oftentimes we see mild concussion. So some of the other symptoms that patients typically aren't aware that are associated with the injury are like dizziness, blurred vision, ringing in the ears, memory loss, or like foggy memory. And I'll tell you, one of the common ones that I hear from the spouses is he's just been more irritable since the accident. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. But those are the common symptoms of a whiplash injury. So let me share with you how we help that. So what we do is we take you through, and let me just share you not only how we're going to help it, but let me share you how our new patient special helps it. So we have, the first thing we do is a consultation to see exactly how it happened. And that becomes important because what's called the mechanism of injury. How the injury happened tells us a lot about the anatomy involved. So that becomes very important. Now, next we're going to check your range of motion, how well you're moving. And we're going to look for which joints are restricted and limited. Now that becomes very important because we want to know which motion you can or can't do, how much you can or can't do it, because that's the specific therapy that we need to correct that problem. In other words, we don't just have one therapy that treats nerve, muscle, joint, range of motion problems. Depending on what the problem is, whether it's the disc, the nerve, the joint, the muscle, the tendon, the ligament, we use specific therapies for which anatomy is involved. So you may have 1, 2, or 3 different types of therapy because you may have a muscle component with a joint component, with a disc component, see, as an example. And we only know that by doing these tests. So we'll do the range of motion, we'll check we'll do your muscle strength. That'll tell us which muscles are involved, causing spasms or tension, and what degree. So, and again, if we find that, then we know we need to use a specific muscle therapy. And then we'll do the nerve test to see which nerves are involved. Again, a lot of times patients with whiplash injuries have back, not just headaches and neck pain. A lot of times they have pain in the back of the head, like at the scalp region. So that tells us, again, if you have nerve involvement and therefore what therapy to use. And then we'll also do the orthopedic joint test, see which joints are involved. And when you're dealing with a whiplash injury, like I say, there's typically multiple aspects of the anatomy involved. A lot of times you can have a disc component, you can have ligament component, a muscle component, and a nerve component. To be honest with you, we typically see all of those involved. And again, the degree they're involved depends on the degree of your injury. But that's what all these tests do. They see if that anatomy is normal or abnormal, and to what degree it's abnormal, and where it's abnormal. That becomes important because that's the therapy that we use to solve it. In other words, you don't just take, a pill for everything. That's not how it works. So that's the joint test. And now we will include 2 or more x-rays. And the reason for that is we'll take what's called stationary x-rays, which are important. But I tell you, when we look at a whiplash injury, what becomes very important is taking what's called a motion x-ray, where we have you bend your head forward, we take the picture, we have you bend backward, take it. Now what that does, it helps us to tell if there's disc lesions, if there's micro tears in the spinal ligaments, and most importantly, it tells us if your spinal bones are moving normal or abnormal. We know if they're moving abnormal, that's a problem, and that needs to be treated. or it ends up being a permanent problem to some degree the rest of your life. That's what happens. So that's the importance of those motion x-rays. And then so here we go. We got all the tests completed. We know what we're dealing with. We know the degree, the severity. And then what we're going to do is we'll offer you 3 chiropractic treatments to see exactly how you respond to treatment. And then we'll also include 3 pain relief muscle therapies to help decrease nerve pain and muscle spasms, which are very commonly associated with a whiplash injury. So, and we'll start seeing the results real fast. And I'll just share with you, when you have these problems, almost every patient will find immediate relief on the very first treatment. Here's what I typically hear. We do the first treatment, especially the chiropractic treatment. The 2 things I typically hear is, oh, it just feels like pressure's been relieved. I feel better immediately. And then typically the patient will move a little bit and go, I can already move more without pain. That's typically what happens on the very first visit, typically, to be honest with you. So that is how we help whiplash injury patients. Now again, if you were involved in a car accident, it's covered 100% by your car insurance, and we accept that. If you're a Medicare patient, we accept Medicare. If you have major medical insurance with a whiplash injury, we accept all insurance policies. If it's a workers' compensation whiplash, we accept workers' compensation. And if you don't have insurance and you're a cash patient, use our new patient special. It's $97. Everything I just said is $97 to see if chiropractic can help you. In other words, we're going to show you that we can help you. That's our new, now typically it's $350 or more. Now when you do that, we're going to give you 2 guarantees. One guarantee is that if you're not 100% satisfied by the first visit, you get your 100% of your money back within 72 hours. Second guarantee is when you do come in, we're going to, you'll see the doctor within 7 minutes. We have what's called a 7-minute wait policy. What does that mean? It means when you come in for your scheduled visit, you'll see the doctor within 7 minutes, which is unheard of with most doctors. Most of the time you're out, waiting in a waiting room for an hour or 2. But that's not the case. So just be aware, we open as early as 9, close as late as 6, so you don't have to take off work. We typically get you in the day you call, if not the very next day. When you do come in, it's only going to take 20 or 30 minutes, and you're not going to wait. You're going to see the doctor within 7 minutes. So in other words, we're going to respect your time. If you're going to trust us with your health care, we're going to respect your time. That's how it's going to work. So give us a call. Give us a call. So if you've been involved in an auto accident, it's covered 100%. Workers' compensation, it's covered 100%. If you have insurance, we accept that. You just typically have a copay. We accept Medicare. You typically have a small copay. And if you're a cash patient, use our new patient special. It's only $97. So give us a call. We can get you in today. Start helping you with that whiplash injury. Just be aware, you want to get that looked at as fast as possible, because when you have these injuries, like you have a disc injury, nerve injury, ligament injury, those can heal wrong. So just be aware, if you let that go too long, those heal wrong, and that's when you end up with a permanent problem to some degree the rest of your life. That's why a lot of times you'll see, we see patients who've had old injuries, but now they have permanent problems the rest of their life because they never received chiropractic physical medicine. They just took medication, and then for all their problems, and then they healed wrong. Didn't matter if it was a nerve problem, muscle problem, joint problem, or a motion problem. They just were prescribed pills. Well, that's not how that's treated. Hopefully you can see that now. So give us a call. We're Orange County Chiropractic Car Injury Clinics, and we help all the chiropractic related problems, but we definitely are very good and have taken extra training specifically for the diagnosis and the therapeutics and the documentation of auto injuries. So give us a call at 714-617-5858. That's 714-617-5858. Tell them, give us a call, say, think you may have a whiplash injury, you'd like to be checked. And if you need to, use our new patient special. It's only $97. Chances are we'll get you in that day. If not the very next day, you won't have to take off work. And it'll take about 20 to 30 minutes. and immediately we can start seeing some results, get you to feeling better as fast as possible. So give us a call. We look forward to helping you. We feel confident we can help you, as a matter of fact. We treat a lot of patients who've had whiplash injuries. Unfortunately, we treat a lot of patients who have had whiplash injury, didn't get the proper care, just took medication, healed wrong, and now we can't get them back to normal. We just help them. But if you've had it in a relatively short period of time, chances are we can probably prevent you from having a permanent, and not only help the problem and correct it and get it over with, but decrease the likelihood of you having a permanent injury to some degree the rest of your life as a result of this from healing wrong. So give us a call again. We look forward to seeing you and helping you.